Hello everyone, this is Darin Martineau with ProMagicArt.com, and in this podcast today it's going to be about mistakes to avoid in magic, and this is taken out of chapter 4 of our new book called Master Magic University from myself and Brian Smedley. So, first mistakes to avoid is don't practice a magic effect wrong. If you get used to practicing a sleight and it's still not working, evaluate the problem area and fix it. See, it's better to practice 100 times correctly than 100 times wrong and not knowing it. It's a complete waste of time. This goes for presentation areas also. It encompasses the complete routine. This is what builds your magic. Don't repeat the same trick for the same audience twice. This comes from some of the basic rules of magic. Like never revealing secrets. Ethics, don't steal other magicians' magic. Do your own. Work on one magic routine at a time before you start on the next one. And this comes out of the cycle of magic, where we learn magic, we practice magic, we rehearse magic, we perform magic, then we go through this cycle again. We have to break out of the vicious cycle. The vicious cycle is doing the same mistakes over and over again. Okay, performing this new magic for the same people over and over again. So that's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Professionals perform the same magic, the master magic, for different audiences. Now, in the book, The Art of Magic by T. Nelson Downs, he talks about some of this. He talks about the don'ts of magic. If you have this book, you want to take a look at it, but I'm going to go over this now. He says, T. Nelson Downs says, don't address the audience too much as ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Don't try to be funny unless you are naturally. Don't try to be something you're not. This is understanding yourself and understanding your strengths and also your weaknesses. See, if you're not a technician, what are you, right? Usually, if you're someone who has a gift of the gab, then you're going to lean towards comedy. Don't perpetuate the puns, the cliches, and the wheezes. Okay, they're the lowest form of wit. This has to be with all of the bad jokes. The bad jokes makes for bad magic because you see, I'm of the purist kind of magician, because the purist just doesn't mean, oh, I don't do gimmicks, even though that's one element of it, okay? I do some gimmicks, but the main thing is it's not just about sleight of hand. When I say purist, see, when you have the magical effect, it's pure. You're not sugarcoating anything, because when you sugarcoat it, what that means is you're watering down the magic by thinking, oh, I'm going to do these bad jokes or these things, and that's going to make it better. And it's not. So I'm of the Darwin Ortiz style. Now, don't verbally draw attention to the fact your hands are empty. This is a mistake I see many magicians make, not just amateurs, but even pros. Because when you say, look, my hands are empty, when you do that too much, what happens is it's reverse psychology. Your audience is going to question, well, are they really? And then you're going to get yourself into a situation that you're not going to know how to get out of, because you see, it's not just that there's hecklers and all of this. The point being, you don't need to state the obvious. This is where subtle indirection comes into play. Give your audience credit for some intelligence. Never insult the audience's intelligence. There's a story when Di Vernon would perform for one of the famous chess players, and he was going to do his version of 3-card Monte with the corner bend. Instead of making it such an obvious corner bend, he made it very subtle, because he knew that this person was going to be very observant. So this is an example of how we can use subtlety, not only in our technique, but subtlety in our presentation and in our psychology. The next is, don't say the prop is ordinary or my hands are empty. This draws suspicious to them. Okay, we covered that. They can see your hands are empty without you saying so. Don't, if you're a professional, tell the manager that you packed him in at so-and-so. He wants to know that you can do this at his house or venue. This is to be humble. Don't tell everyone that you meet that you're the inventor of the back palm. This is funny. A lot of magicians try to take credit for everything, and it's just silly. Because you are not. Don't cumber your program with such expressions as marvelous digital dexterity or magic mirth and mystery. They have been used before. Don't program yourself as professor. You're an entertainer, not a pedagogue. Don't speak of your work as a swindle. Magic is an art. It's not a con. Don't think that because you're a magician, you don't have to know anything else. Okay? Don't talk too much of palming. Don't look at your hands so much. Don't make your hands stiff. Don't offend the audience. Never offend the audience. Okay? Perform for the audience and not at the audience. Slow down. Use of pauses. And one of the biggest ones is don't expose magic. Now, to understand what magic is, we have to understand what magic is not. Magic is not confusion, okay? It's not, you don't want to confuse your plots up. This is not just in the sleight of hand, in bad choreography of motion, but we don't want to confuse it with plot upon plot, like trying to do 10 illusions in under 10 minutes, which I've seen some illusionists do, for an example. Just doesn't work. And as far as manipulation act, you look to someone like McBride, who is a great example of routining, because you can do more with less. You know, it's less is more, because you're not trying to do all these different things. You're just milking it and getting the best. Another example is Christopher Hart. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a guy behind an Addams Family. He was the hand, and what he does is he just does 3 routines. Very direct, not confusing. Okay. Next one, magic is not a puzzle. Too many magicians present it as a puzzle. Well, that's something to be figured out, and that lends to the audience to try to figure it out and presents it in a challenge way. We want to take the challenge, which comes to the next one. Magic is not a challenge. Although in a ways it is, because every story is kind of like, you know, conflict and resolution. So I'm not trying to say that. It's sometimes some magicians can do it in a roundabout way. So we have to be careful with that, because there's always ways to break or bend the rules. And that's something that I realized. And it's a deep concept, because we can't just say, oh, we can never do this, because then we limit ourselves. You never want to limit yourself as a magician and artist. Next one, magic is not anticlimactic. You don't want to do anticlimactic. An example, you're doing an ace assembly, and then at the end, they're supposed to be there and it's the kings. Another example is you put a girl into a box, magician does, puts the sword to the box, opens it up, she's not there. Of course she's not hurt because she's not there. Then she comes back. I'm not trying to say these things can't be done. It's just that direct magic is stronger, because you never want to do the anticlimactic thing. And you got to be careful with the kickers in the magic, because sometimes they can lose the high impact of the effect. Okay, next one. Magic is not literal demonstration. Okay, magic is symbolic demonstration. And the difference is, in the literal demonstration is you're just doing the technique alone, with no context, no presentation, nothing like that. Whereas symbolic would have to do with the subtext, the underlying message, and the meaning in the magic. Okay. So that is a podcast for today. And thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to get free magic, head on over to promagicart.com. You can get over 58 free magic tutorials now. You can take a look at what I have to offer there with the Cerulean system. The Cerulean system is my original magic, and it's also my renditions of the classics. It's my system to teach one to become a master magician. It is a curriculum that no one else has. It's very, very powerful. I'm very proud of it, and it's my life's work on the art of magic. So head on over to promagicart.com, join the free level, and thank you very much. Have a nice day.